Our next guest is a two-time Emmy Award-winning actor, writer, and comedian. You know from his role as Roy Kent in the series Ted Lasso. He currently stars in and is a writer for the show Shrinking. Second season is streaming now on Apple TV Plus with new episodes premiering Wednesdays. Let's take a look.
You guys better not be talking about me.
I would never do that. I promise.
So how you been doing? Brian told me you got your license and you've been applying for colleges. Sounds like you got a lot going on.
He really should not be telling you stuff about me.
Oh, honestly, he mostly talks about himself. He just asks me questions like, do these clothes look good on me, or would a baby look good on me? He mostly wants to know if things would look good on him.
That tracks.
I've learned the answer is always yes.
Please welcome back to the show, Brett Goldstein, everybody. I'm thrilled to have you back.
Oh,
Now,
delighted to be here.
last time you were here, it was right after your first Emmy win
Yes.
for playing Roy Kent, and you were saying
Thank you, come on.
but it was stressful. The start of the Emmys was very stressful for you.
Yeah. Oh, because they did a musical number, and suddenly Cedric the Entertainer came towards us like dancing, and I was like, oh, we got to dance. I was like, I prepared for so many things, but not dancing.
Yeah. If you're not prepared to dance at a televised event, it's a disaster.
Please tell me you're not going to make me dance.
Oh, man. That was
That was
dawning on
such
me.
a
I
setup.
really blew it. Yeah. And then I saw you right backstage after you won your second year.
Yeah.
But you were nervous about that because of what happened right beforehand.
Well, the second Emmy, you know.
You know, as they're called.
When you have to number them. But the second Emmy was before I went. It was the Best Supporting Actress, and Cheryl Lee Ralph won. And she came on stage and she did a song a cappella, and she did this rousing speech, and everyone stood up. And I was sat there thinking, I hope I don't win. I can't. How the am I going to follow that?
But you did. You deserved it. You won. And the best thing is, you know.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Come on, thank you.
And I don't remember a thing about your speech because, you know, it's Cheryl Lee Ralph.
Yeah,
You know.
it was a nice song.
Very exciting. You've been. You did a huge stand-up tour.
Yes, I watched your stand-up show last night. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
It
It's
is
very kind.
fantastic.
Thank you for saying that. I imagine on your tour you saw parts of this country that you had not seen before.
I went all over your lovely country. No notes. Everything seems fine. I went to Austin. I liked Austin, but yeah, in Austin I was with Mo Welch, who is my brilliant opener, and we bought cowboy hats and cowboy boots like tourists within about 2 hours. And you realise, like, it just changed my whole personality.
Like for the better?
No, much worse. Like, you have a swagger, and you sort of think, well, I don't have to say anything anymore because this is now my personality. And I started to think like the strong, silent type is just a boring man with a hat.
Yeah. That's all. The hat is a way of like presenting to everybody around. Like, I don't actually have much to add.
Yeah. And in Denver, went to Denver, and I discovered the greatest American. We're in Denver, right? We're in a bar. And after the show, and these bros are like over there, and they're like, hey, you ever had a corn dog? And I was like, no, I don't know what that is. And they were like, and they went, get him a corn dog. And they were like, this is going to be hilarious. And I was like, am I being punked? I don't know what's happening. And they ordered me a corn dog, and they got their phones out. And I'm like, what is this? And then the corn dog comes, they're like, it's going to be hilarious, you eating a corn dog. I had one bite of it. I said, get me 4 more corn dogs. The food of the gods.
Because I would imagine in England everybody knows you as a stand-up, yes?
Listen, it was quite a big shift. I've done stand-up for like 17 years.
Right.
But usually to like 50 people.
Okay,
and,
gotcha.
And now doing this tour, it was much bigger crowds, which was amazing. But they gave me, the promoters gave me a security guard. They said, you have to have a security guy because it's so big now. And I was like, I've never had one. Couldn't it just be low-key? And they went, yeah, sure. And they got me, I'm scared to tell this story in case he's watching and he's going to kill me. They got me this guy called Rusty.
Okay.
Who was a giant. and he had 3 guns on him. He had one on the waist, 2 on each ankle. And on the I was like, okay, low-key. And on the first night, we do the show, and then we're having dinner. It's me and Mo and a few people having dinner. And a guy comes over to the table very politely, and he says, excuse me, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I've actually paid your bill. Ted Lasso saved my marriage, and I'm just so grateful. And in the middle of his sentence, Rusty pushes him by the chest, pushes him out the door. The poor guy is going like, and I just wanted to say thank you for everything.
Like,
And I was like, I really appreciate it. Rusty, down.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Oh, yeah, no, I for your sake, I really hope Rusty's not watching.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. And then congratulations on Shrinking.
very
This
much.
show you helped create. Right on. And we see
Thank
you're
you.
in.
Thank you.
And, you know, this is, look, this show's very funny, but it's also, you know, it's got a lot of heart to it. It's got a lot of weight
Yeah.
to it. And your character and Jason Segels have a very complicated relationship.
Yeah, I'm not funny in this one. It's a very serious part. And on the very first day, when I had my first scene with Jason Segel, if you haven't seen it, he is very traumatized by an act that I have committed, and I've come to apologize to him, and he shouts, basically tells me to off a lot. And it was our first scene. I didn't know how Jason was going to be, so we're friends, but we were separate. And then we did the scene, and he shouts, and it's really dramatic, but he spat so much on me that between takes, they kept being like, I didn't, you know, I was staying in it, but the continuity people were like, this is like a spit. You need, we need to fix this.
So they had a spit team. They would
Had a
come
spit
in
team,
every, yeah.
I was caked.
The show obviously is about therapists.
Yeah.
You've made the observation it is dangerous to actually try to get to know about your own therapist.
Yeah.
It's a mistake I've made as well.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you asked questions and then immediately regretted it?
It's not, I feel like I ask questions because I'm trying to kill, I don't want to talk about me.
Wind down the clock.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always like, let's get this over with. And if we talk about me, I feel like I've done a bad
You
job.
seen anything good lately?
Exactly.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, I like to pay a lot of money to find out what movies someone I don't know sees.
Yeah. I mean, we did put it in the show, but I genuinely do think it's tricky because as soon as you know something, then your life, you just realize how lucky you are. And if you know, like, their dad died and you're like, oh, I was just complaining about an Instagram post. Nothing matters. Just take my money. We can cancel. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, right. It's very nice. Like, it's from a place of empathy. You're like, oh, you don't wanna hear about it. Yeah. I want to say a thing I'm very jealous of is that you are working with Harrison Ford.
yes.
And I've always said,
Yeah.
When people say, like, who's exciting to me, it's always the most exciting to meet people that were super famous when you were a kid. Like, you
Yeah.
kind of can't believe it. And how is it in person?
Well, I, like, was obsessed with Indiana Jones to the extent that I would, like, if friends of mine had garages, I would go there and, like, get them to lower it and then roll under and grab a hat. I hope he doesn't watch this either. This is this is just trouble.
But I've also read that his character is loosely based on your dad. How does your dad feel about that?
Well, so my dad has Parkinson's, and it wasn't something we were going to talk about publicly when we were talking about the show, and then Bill Lawrence let it slip by accident. And I called my dad, and I was like, listen, Dad, Bill said about you having Parkinson's. I hope that's not a problem. And my dad said, are you telling everyone that I'm Harrison Ford? And I said, yeah. And he went, cool. Okay, go for it. Please,
Very fair.
go for it. Yeah.
You've had a lot of wonderful co-stars in recent years, but safe to say this is the pinnacle.
Yeah.
I can't help but notice
I did.
the Lasso font on that scram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did Sesame Street. It was the best day of my life. Like, it really. Have you done it?
It's the best.
It's the problem is you have to continue living afterwards.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's the point? You know what I mean?
Did this happen to you? I remember we did one on Weekend Update where I was me and Kermit, and
Yeah.
they're like, just remember, like, look at Kermit, don't look at the puppeteer.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's gonna be hard, because, like, I know where the voice, and, like, within, like, 30 seconds, you're like, hey, bud.
Yeah.
Like you just lock
Instant.
eyes and you're just like, you're the only thing here that I care about.
Instant.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, no, it was difficult coming to Subway, and then the thing comes up, and you're like, I love you. It's mad.
Early work. I want to, you didn't have a chance to promote Super Bob 10 years ago.
Oh, I did not.
Yeah, so let's get it out there.
Let's get Super Bob out there.
A lot of people start, with the smaller stuff and then eventually do their superhero movie.
Yeah.
You started with your superhero movie.
Yeah, we made a film 10 years ago nearly called Super Bob, which is about the world's only superhero, and he lives in South London. And the film, partly because we didn't have any money, is set on his one day off. And it's a romantic comedy, and he's going on his first date in 6 years. And I'm very proud of it. Do
There you go.
watch it.
Holds
Thank
up.
you.
Super Bob, it holds
Thank
up.
you.
Let's give it a shot, everybody. What a delight to see you again, buddy. Thank you so much for being here. Brett Goldstein, Shrinking, streaming now on Apple TV+. New episodes on Wednesdays. We'll be right back.